Hello Chessmood family, GMAvetic here is with you, and today is White Monday, which means I am serving you, doing whatever I can do for you. One of our Chessmood family members, Edward, sent me his game with very interesting and non-standard pawn structure. In this video I will help you to learn how to orient in non-standard pawn structures. Let's start from the opening. d4, d5, we go to semi-Slav. Knight c3, bishop f5, e3, e6, bishop d3. Here is the main and normal line is bishop d3, queen d3, and then bishop e7 or bishop b4. However, Edward did very interesting move, bishop b4, bishop f5, ef5. Now we have a new pawn structure. What has changed? Now we have a double pawns. This is the minus of our position. The plus is that our f5 pawn is strong. From e6 he went to f5, now we have full control over this e4 very important square. White played castle, castle and queen b3. Now Edward unfortunately did the first mistake, he played queen e7. It is a very logical move, however there is one thing that it seems that Edward missed. The thing here is now that white can take cd5, and after cd5 we lose a pawn. If it takes cd5 then knight d5 is just a free pawn, and after cd5 if at first we take bishop c3 then white can take bc3, and after cd5 or knight d5 next move bishop a3 is coming and we lose our exchange. So after cd5 we were losing a pawn. Another way that we were losing, it's also a pawn, it was bishop c3. Now there is small tactic dc6 at first. Now bishop goes somewhere, bishop a5, then cb7, and we lose our rook, so we will stay without exchange. And if we play bishop b4, closing this line, then cb7, queen b7, and a3. And now because of this spin we lose our bishop and we stay without pawn. After queen b3 instead of queen e7 Edward, it would be much better to play bishop c3. Now if queen c3, this is important moment, we can play knight bd7 and develop our knight. However, after knight bd7, white has a strong move b3. Why b3? Whenever we take dc4, white will take the bc4. The thing here, we should understand one thing. When we have a new pawn structure, our e6 pawn went to f5, right? We have two knights. Where are going our knights? Well, one knight is going to e4 for sure. Where is going our another knight? He may come to f6, and what then? Not easy to say what then. The position is still fine, however we had something better. After queen c3 we had a strong move dc4. After queen c4 we can play knight bd7, so now one knight will go from b6 to d5, another knight will go to e4. So now we have two very good knights compared to previous position. That's why after queen c3, knight bd7, white would play b3, important move. So after dc4, bc4, we would not have this d5 square, so we cannot play knight b6, knight b6, knight d5. After bishop c3, if bc3, and then I think the best move here is queen c7. Idea is now knight is going to bd7, knight bd7 and knight b6. So why queen c7? There is another plus, is that after cd5, it would be very hard for white to play c4 move. Because of our queen on c7 and we have control on this c4 square. So after cd5, c3 pawn would be weak. And our knight from d7 can go to b6 and go to c4. Another knight on f6 all the time goes to e4 very comfortably. So bc3, queen c7, an important move, and after knight bd7 we are fine. After bishop c3 there is queen b7 move at first. So now if we go somewhere with bishop, we lose our exchange, or rook, we lose a rook, after which we will stay without exchange. And if we do some move with knight, then we will stay without a pawn. However, we have now bishop a5 strong move. Bishop a5, queen a8 and queen c7. Next move coming knight bd7. And trapping the queen. Here is the only move, knight e5. And there is coming some complicated lines, but black is fine. Because of this video is not about calculation, I will stop this. If any of you would be interested in this, would be interesting to see your comments. I will go a little bit more about this position. So here after queen b3, not queen e7, bishop c3 was the right move. queen b3, queen e7, and now for white cd5 was the strong move. In the game was played a3. a3, bishop c3, and the white took with pawn bc3. So now we have another change to the previous pawn structure, bc3. Again, what we are doing, the first, we are asking us a few questions. What has changed? The minus of white positions is that after somewhere cd5, c3 pawn may become weak. Plus of white position is that they opened the b line, so somewhere rook b1, rook will immediately join the game. Next plus of white, somewhere they can play cd5 and c4 and crushing our pawn structure. What did we gain? After taking bc3, now the pawn structure is very interesting, and if somehow we can play knight bd7, knight b6, forcing our opponent to take cd5, then our opponent would have very weak pawn on c3 and also a very bad bishop on c1. So when we understand this, we begin to think what are the next moves. In the game, Edward played b6. This is fine, it's normal move. However, there is something stronger for black. I like here queen c7 move. The idea is that bc3, queen c7. Idea is that I want to develop my knight on d7 to b6, as I said. So after cd5, we would have control over c4, important square. When we play b6, now knight bd7, knight b6 is not possible anymore. And also after b6, sometimes we let our opponent to play a4, a5, and putting pressure here. Also, anyway, after bishop c3, bc3, next move of white is gonna be a4, bishop a3, and white want to get exchange. So anyway, our queen should move from here. It can be placed on d7 or c7, yeah, or somewhere else after b6. Why queen c7? First, after cd5, as I said in the previous diagram, we have control on this c4 important square. Second, after queen c7, b7 pawn is protected, so now knight bd7 would be possible for us. After queen c7, I tried for white to play a4, otherwise if some cd5, now of course we take cd5, never knight d5, because knight d5, c4, and pawn structure of white is much better. So cd5, we should take cd5, and now white has problems with that, with their c3 pawn. c4 would be not possible. The next moves are knight bd7, knight b6. Queen c7, the best response for white would be a4. a4, knight bd7, now we want to play knight b6, and here white should play a5, stopping our knight b6 move. If white plays some move like bishop a3, just rook fe7 or even rook fc7, being prepared for cd5. Rook fc7 and next move knight b6. Now f5 move is not possible, just queen a5, and we are pawn up. Bishop a3, okay. So a4, knight bd7, white should play here a5, stopping our knight b6 move. And I was thinking about this position, how to continue, what are the next move. And I found here a very interesting and very strong move, rook fb8. This is a very strong one. The idea is next move we want to play b5. With anyway we want to force our opponent to take cd5. So if he takes cd5 or cb5, it would be the same. The thing that after cd5, our opponent would have this weak pawn on c3. Rook fb8, what's the idea is that after our opponent move bishop a3, now queen a5 is not possible because after bishop d6, now queen is hanging and rook on b8, so we lose exchange. After bishop a3 we do strong move b5. Now if cd5, cd5, now c3 pawn is weak. If after b5, cb5, okay, cb5 is the same. And if a b6, then knight b6, and again cd5, knight is going to c4, our opponent has a weak pawn on c3, also we have post pawn here on a7, which will go to a5. After rook fb8, bishop a3, b5. If white doesn't do it, if they play c5, then what happens? They have very bad bishop on a3. He is close with his own pawns. We can stop here with playing a6 or even don't touch here and go now to the king side. Next move can be knight e4, rook c8, then we can start attacks there with rook e6, rook a8, even somewhere we can go to g5. And we are playing practically a piece up because our opponent bishop on a3 is very bad. So rook fb8 is very strong move. Next move is b5. If you check what is offering engine in such positions, he will do some normal moves like rook fc8. So now bishop a3 move is not possible because after queen a5, bishop d6, our rook is not on b8, so we don't lose exchange. Rook fc8 is possible. However, like if you put some move like h3, what is the next move of black? It's not easy to say. So because of this, some positions there are that it's very hard to analyze with computer, and you should have a coach or friend who will help you to understand insights of the position. So here computer never will say a move like rook fb8, but which is very interesting. So solving such a move, he will develop your understanding of positional game, and of course will become a better player. Rook fb8, I like this move very much. You can stop and think about this position a little bit more. It is very important to understand what is going on here. So we are ready for next pawn change, cd5, and we are doing b5 move, trying to make our opponent bishop on c1 a bad one. After a3, bishop c3, bc3, so b6 was played. I believe that the strongest move here is queen c7, with next move knight bd7, knight b6. Well, b6 was played, knight e8. The strongest move here for white would be a4, bishop a3. Knight e5 was played, or even cd5, and now using the moment that our queen is not on c7, controlling this c4, so now white can play c4 and play without this bad pawn on c4. c4, take, and then a4, bishop a3. The position is about equal. bc3, b6, knight e5 was played, queen a6, this is fine. a4, knight bd7, bishop a3, rook fe8, this is fine. However, I would prefer here rook fc8 move. Rook fc8, and again the topic is same. We are ready for the next change after cd5. Now c4 would be not possible because our rook is on c8, so it controls the c4 pawn. Bishop a3, rook fe8 was played. cd5, knight d7, queen d7 is played. I would prefer here knight d7 move. So now c4 move is impossible, and if rook fc1 move with next c4, then rook ec8 or rook ac8 is the most same. Next move rook c4, rook ac8. So we put pressure on our opponent, weak pawn on c3, and our opponent also has a bad bishop on a3. He doesn't know what to do. We can continue to attack this c3 pawn with knight f6, knight e4, and somewhere we can, even with our queen and knight, make problems on our opponent king. Oops, I will make it red because it will be under attack. So knight d7, queen d7 was played. I think this is a little bit inaccurate. Knight d7 would be better, not allowing to our opponent to play c4 move. Knight d7, queen d7, c4, knight e4, good move, using the moments that we want to play knight d2. Now our opponent did rook a d1, wrong move, and after dc4, queen c4, rook ac8, now we gain the c important line with tempo, and here he did the last mistake, queen d3, and after rook c3 he lost his piece, and son Edward won. After c4, knight e4, the best move here for white would be queen b5 move. Now knight d2 is coming, right? And also if white do some move, as it was in the game rook a d1, we take dc4 with tempo, queen c4 with tempo, rook ac8, and we gain the c line. After queen b5, we attack opponent our queen and avoid knight d2 move. After queen b5, we take cb5. Now there is c-line, however, c-line fight for this c-line would be equal because rook e8, white has time for fighting him too. After cb5, the best answer for us would be knight d2. So we took our knight from e4 to c4 is coming. So we close the c4 line, c line. Rook fc1, knight c4, bishop b4. The position is about equal. Next move a5 would be possible. We can try to play still. It's a little bit better for us. However, it's around equal. So with right moves, it should be draw. Another right move for white would be bishop b4. Bishop b4, keeping this d2 square. After a5, bishop goes to e1. Right, bishop goes to e1. He's very passive now there, but now we gain a weak pawn on b6. So after dc4, queen c4, rook ac8, queen d3, let's say rook c6 with next move rook ec8 and trying to fight for c line. Then white can play f3, knight f6, bishop d2, something like this. So now our opponent has weak pawn on e3, we have weak pawn on b6. This is an interesting position, it's around equal to. So after the cd5, knight d7, queen d7, sorry, was played. I would prefer knight d7, not allowing our opponent to play c4. So we saw a game with very interesting pawn structure, and let's make a conclusion of how to orient in non-standard pawn structure. I will put the diagram on this. This was the most non-standard one. So there are a few questions that we should always ask ourselves when the pawn structure changes. The first question: what pluses and minuses are now in our position? Second question: what our opponent gained or lost with these changes? Third question: how to cover our minuses and use the pluses? And the fourth question: how to use drawbacks of our opponent's position. When we give ourselves this question, it's become very easy to understand what are the next moves, to find candidate moves, to find plans, and so on. So with giving yourself these questions, now you will orient in non-standard pawn structures much easier. I hope you love it and you will implement the gain knowledge in your next games. If you have any question, please post in the comment section below this video, I will answer them. Jemavetic was with you, good luck and never forget about right mood.